Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you to County Court Law number 2. This morning, we have our announcement docket, and that just simply means that if your case is on the on the arraignment docket, today is the arraignment docket, and that just simply means that this is an opportunity for the court to tell you what you've been charged with, what your rights are, and what the options that you have regarding your case. Now, sir, you need to put your mask over your mouth and your nose. Thank you. You have a case in this court, and your case is a misdemeanor case. There are your cases, criminal cases are divided into either felonies or misdemeanors. Your felony cases are what we call the most serious type cases. They are the ones that are held in the district court. This is County Court at Law number 2, Jefferson County, Texas. And so we handle Class A and Class B misdemeanors. Now, there are 3 classifications of misdemeanors. There's A, B, and C. Your C misdemeanors are the ones that you normally see in the traffic court, like the municipal court or the justice court. With the Class C misdemeanors, your punishment cannot entail jail time. You're going to get, it's a fine only punishment. However, with the Class A and Class B misdemeanors, you can get jail time. However, unlike the felony case where you can get sent to the state penitentiary, the Texas Department of Corrections, misdemeanor cases, you cannot be sentenced to TDC. However, you can be sentenced to county jail. Now, if you have a Class A misdemeanor, then the range of punishment is confinement for a term not to exceed 1 year, a fine not to exceed $4,000, or both such fine and confinement. So therefore, with the Class A misdemeanor, you could be given jail time for 1 day, or say 0 days, all the way on up to 1 year, 365 days, or anywhere in between. Your fine could be $0 all the way up to $4,000, or anywhere in between. Or you could be given both such fine and confinement in the county jail. You could get confinement in the county jail. For a Class B misdemeanor, the range of punishment is a term that does not exceed 180 days in the county jail. It could be anywhere from 0 days all the way up to 180 days, or anywhere in between. You could be given a fine from $0 to $2,000, or anywhere in between. Or you could be given both such confinement in the county jail and a fine. In your case, you have a right to have an attorney. Now, as a defendant in a criminal case, you have 3 options. And I think earlier they may have passed out some paperwork to you. And it says judge's explanation of rights to defendants without an attorney. As a defendant in a criminal case, you have 3 options. Number 1, you may hire an attorney. Number 2, if you do not have enough money to hire an attorney, you may request an attorney be appointed to represent you. Or number 3, you may represent yourself. If you want an attorney to represent you and have enough money to hire an attorney, the case will be reset to give you time to do so. If you want an attorney and do not have the money to hire one, you will need to fill out a financial questionnaire so that the proper person can determine whether or not to appoint an attorney to represent you. You may not speak to the prosecutor about your case unless you sign a written waiver of your right to be represented by an attorney. Be aware that there are dangers to self-representation. Waiving your right to an attorney and representing yourself may result in a worse outcome for you and your case, including the loss of significant legal rights and opportunities relating to military service, possession of a firearm, housing and public benefits, child custody, immigration status for non-citizens, and employment. If you choose to proceed without an attorney, you may change your mind at any time and may request counsel from the court. At the bottom of the document, it says defendant's choice. Mark initials next to only one choice. If you want to reset this case to hire an attorney, you'll put your initials on the first line to the left. If you have hired an attorney whose name is, then you put your initials on the second line to the left and the name of the attorney on the line to the right. If you want to apply for court-appointed counsel, then you'll place your initials on the third line to the left. If you have a court-appointed attorney whose name is, then you will put your initials on the fourth line to the left and the name of the attorney on the line to the right. If you want to waive your right to an attorney and represent yourself, then you'll put your initials on the fifth line to the left. Once you have finished signing that document, then you'll sign your name at the bottom of the document where it says defendant, and you'll put today's date, March 9th of 2021. Now, those of you who will be applying for a court-appointed attorney, you would have to fill out a financial questionnaire. We will pass that out to you. And those of you who will be representing yourself, there is a waiver of counsel for purposes of entering a guilty plea or proceeding attached to the paperwork that you have. Is the second page. And then what that basically states is, I have been advised of the nature and charges against me and the dangers and disadvantages of self-representation. My waiver is voluntarily and intelligently made. Furthermore, I have been advised this 9th day of March of 2021 by the County Court at Law Number 2 of my right to representation by counsel in the case pending against me. I have been further advised that if I am unable to afford counsel, one will be appointed for me free of charge. Understanding my right to have counsel appointed for me free of charge, if I am not financially able to employ counsel, I wish to waive that right and request the court to proceed with my case without an attorney being appointed for me. I hereby waive my right to counsel. And if that's your case, for those of you who will be representing yourself, then you'll sign where it says defendant, and you would date it today, March 9th of 2021. And then now, you also have a right to have a trial by jury. And what that means is you have a right to have 6 people to sit on your case, to be selected first, and to sit on your case and to listen to all of the evidence. And once all of the evidence in, they can decide whether or not you're guilty or innocent. You also have a right to waive or give up that right to have a trial by jury. And you have a right to have your case just come before the court or before the judge without having a trial. And you can do that either by a trial, or you can come before the court through what we call a plea. Whether it's either an agreed plea where you have a plea bargaining agreement with the state, or an unagreed plea where you do not have an agreement with the state. Now, you also have a right to have a trial you also have a right to have witnesses to come to court on your behalf. Now, where this young lady is sitting in that chair, we call that the witness stand. Witnesses, they can testify for you or against you. You can ask them questions. We call that either direct examination or cross-examination. You also have a right to waive or give up your right to have witnesses to come to court as well. And if you do so, you will not be calling any witnesses in your case. However, the state still will be calling witnesses in their case. Now, you also have a right to have what we call discovery. And what discovery is, it's an opportunity for you to see the evidence that the state has against you. For example, they may have videos, witness statements, police reports, etc., or some other type of documents that they can, if you want to exercise your right to have this discovery, they can allow you to have access to those materials. If you do not want to have discovery, then you can simply waive or give up your right to have discovery in this case. Now, if you are not a U.S. citizen on a plea of guilty or no contest, it may result in deportation, exclusion from admission, or denial of naturalization. Deportation means they can kick you out the country. Exclusion from admission means that if you're outside the country trying to come in, they could deny you coming in, or they could prevent you from coming in. And denial of naturalization means that if you make an application for citizenship, they can deny that application for citizenship. You also have for those of you who you're representing yourself, or if you have an attorney representing you, you'll have an opportunity to talk to the prosecutor, or your attorney can talk to the prosecutor, and to see if they can work out what is called a plea bargain on your case. That simply means an agreement or a settlement on your case. If you are able to work out in a plea bargain agreement or a settlement, then the court does not have to follow that plea bargain agreement. If the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement that you have made with the state, then you can withdraw, which means you can take back your plea. And you have a right to do that. Now, if the court does follow the plea bargain agreement, and if you decide within 30 days that you would like to appeal the case, what an appeal is you would like to have a higher court to look at the case to see whether or not you have been wrongfully convicted or an error was committed by convicting you. And if you desire to appeal the case, if the court follows the plea bargain agreement, you have to get the court's permission to appeal. Now, if the court gives you permission to appeal, your case will be appealed to the Ninth Court of Appeals, which is right above us on the 3rd floor. They will review your case. They will decide whether or not you are guilty or innocent. If they grant your appeal, they can decide whether or not you're innocent or guilty. If they grant it, then they can do one thing. They can acquit you, which means find you not guilty, or they can send the case back down to this court, or to this court to give you a whole new trial. If they deny your appeal, then you can appeal it to a higher court than them. That higher court is in Austin, Texas. It's called the Ninth Court. It's called the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals. It is the highest criminal court in the state of Texas. You would have to file what is called a pro se petition for discretionary review. Pro se means without a lawyer. You'll be doing it on your own, and you will be asking the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals to review your case to see whether or not your appeal should have been granted, see if you've been wrongfully convicted, or see if this court committed an error by convicting you. If they grant your pro se petition, they can either acquit you, which means find you not guilty, or they can send the case back down to this court, or to this court to give you a whole new trial. If they deny your pro se petition, then at that point, your conviction will stand. Jefferson County DA's office has a program that is called PreTrial Diversion. And what PreTrial Diversion is, it's a program for first-time offenders. And basically what happens is you get in the program, your case is dismissed, you can get it expunged from your record. Now, the way it works, you have to, first of all, get an attorney to assist you with filing the proper documentation to get into the program. If you get approved for to get approved for the program. The other thing is you cannot have an offense involving unlawfully carrying a weapon or resisting arrest. And then the third thing is it has to be your first offense. You cannot have a criminal history. So if you meet those qualifications and you get into the program, case is dismissed, you complete the program, then you can get it expunged. Expunged means wiped off, deleted, or erased from your criminal record. So that's an expunction. Now, this court has a program as well that is called the CSI program. And I started that program about 2-3 months into being on the bench. And what that program is designed to do is designed to make Jefferson County a safer place for all of us to live, work, go to school, raise our children, go to church. And the way the program works is we have partnerships with various agencies in the local community. We have a partnership with Spindletop MHMR, our local mental health agency. They also have drug counseling as well. And we have mental health officers who come into court and they can do a private interview, an assessment, and then the MHMR could develop a treatment plan for you, either outpatient or inpatient. Also, they have a program that is called ATAR. ATAR stands for Addiction Treatment and Recovery Program. With the ATAR program, it is a drug and alcohol treatment and recovery program. They have a youth program at Spindletop, and Ozar, which is our local drug and alcohol council. They have drug and alcohol counseling and treatment. And so the way it works is they'll do a screening, and then once they do a screening, they do an interview screening, and then they'll develop a treatment plan, either outpatient or inpatient. The other thing is we have a partnership with the Golden Triangle Empowerment Center, who has a partnership with Lamar University. And Lamar University has a program that is called CICE. CICE stands for Center for Innovation, Commercialization, and Entrepreneurship. It is a job training and a job placement program, and you are trained in either the hotel industry, shipping industry, or the chemical industry, whichever one you choose. Once you are trained in those areas, they will help you or assist you with getting employment in the area that you are trained in. Also, Spindletop and CIC, I think they have a GED program. So if you do not have your high school diploma, you can work through them to get a GED. You get your GED, that will be very helpful. Now, later on, I'll explain to you why that program is important and how that program can be used to benefit you in your case. Okay. Now, with that program, I tell people this all the time. When you come to County Court at Law number 2, we don't have court as usual, we have unusual court. It's not because we're different, but it's because we're trying to make a difference of the lives of the individuals that comes before the court, and we're trying to make a difference in the Jefferson County community. Also, the program that we just spoke of basically says that we do not just arrest the problem, we address the problem. And the program is designed also to produce productive people. If we produce productive people, then productive people, for the most part, do not commit crimes. And therefore, our crime rate goes down. It addresses the issue of what we call recidivism, people committing crimes over and over. Now, I've said that to say this. If you if you have your case, okay, and in your case, you can either enter a plea of guilty, not guilty, or no contest. Guilty, if you enter a plea of guilty, you're telling the court you committed the offense that you've been charged with. If you enter a plea of not guilty, you're telling the court you did not commit the offense that you've been charged with. Or if you enter a plea of no contest, you're telling the court that you will not be fighting or will not be contesting the charges. Now everyone in here who has a case, you've been arrested on your case. That's why you come to arraignment. Your arraignment is your first court appearance after your arrest. You've been arrested. Every day that you spent in jail, let's say you went into jail, every day that you spent in jail, you can get credit toward your punishment. So for example, let's say you was booked into jail at 11:59 p.m. and you got out of jail at 12:01 a.m., right? That's 2 minutes later, right? But they're 2 different days. So you get credit for 2 days. Okay, so it's the days that you have that you normally get that you get credit on. Okay, so every day that you spent in jail, you can get credit on your toward your jail time. The other thing is, if you have been now every day that you spent in jail, it counts as $100 per day toward your fine and court costs. That can be used as credit as well. So if you have jail time, let's say the state is offering, you accepted a plea bargain agreement of 5 days in jail. You've been in jail 5 days. What that basically means, you won't have to serve any more time in jail. Why? Because you're going to get credit for time served. You've already served 5 days in jail. Now, if you have more time to serve, then the 5 days can go toward your jail time. If they offer you 10 days, then you got 5 days, then you'll have 5 days left. All right. Now, if you're ordered to pay a fine, let's say you spend 5 days in jail, and let's say the fine and court costs come to a total of $500. And you won't have to pay the $500. Why? Because you spent 5 days in jail. 5 days in jail is what? $500. So you can get credit that can be taxed and retired. All right. Now, let's say you are ordered to pay a fine, but you can't pay the fine. We can do a couple of things. We can put you on a payment plan, which means you pay so much per month until it's paid off. Or if, let's say, you can't pay it off at all because you don't have any income, then we can convert your fine and court costs to community service. And with the community service, every hour that you work, $12.50 will go toward your fine and court costs. Now, let's say you're in one of the programs that I talked about, the job training program, job placement, the job training and the job placement program, the mental health program, or the drug program, or the alcohol program, or you working on your GED. All of those programs that I just spoke of in our CSI program can be used as community service, can be converted to community service. All right. So I tell people this all the time. If you have a fine, you can't pay it, you get in the program, we can kill 3 birds with 1 stone. First of all, you ought to pay a fine, but you can't pay it. We convert it to community service. You got community service too. And let's say you're working on your GED. That's the third thing. Why you working on your GED, or why you being trained on your job, or why you in mental health treatment, or why you in drug or alcohol treatment, every hour that you're in one of those classes, that's $12.50 that's going towards your fine and court costs. And that's yes, $12.50 going towards your court costs. So what you're doing is you're in the program, you're doing your community service, and you're paying your fine and court costs by doing one thing. Okay. So that's how the program works. And the other thing about the program is this: it's free. Doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to pay 1 penny. The program is free. Only thing you have to say is, well, Judge, I like to be in one of the programs, and that's all you have to do is have a desire. Now we have a flyer here with information for individuals who are interested in the job training program at Lemoore. We have the number that you can call, and that they can work with you on that. Okay. And all of these programs also could be what we call a condition of bond. So it could be part of your bond, because the idea is to make Jefferson County a safer place. And the way we do it is one way is through that program. Now, we have someone here from the Spindletop program. Is Deputy Hinton. He's our local, he's a mental health officer. He can tell you about the Spindletop program, everything that's being done in that program, and he could tell you, how it can benefit you. And so without any further ado, I'll introduce to you, I'll present to you Deputy Hinton with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. Good morning. This truly is a specialty court because the judge does care about people. Now, the reason he's invited us into his courtroom is for one reason, and that is to help everyone here today. What we found was people who go in and out of the jail, end up in the court system, sometimes have underlying issues. Sometimes they're mental health issues. Sometimes they're substance use disorders. We like to address those underlying issues because we believe if we can fix those things, then some of these other things will take care of itself. You won't find yourself in and out of the jail or in the court system or anything like that. So that's why we're here to help you. We have a couple ladies here in the back who are qualified mental health professionals who work for Spindletop. We've teamed up together as a team, and we'll be glad to speak with y'all individually, however that works for y'all. If for some reason this doesn't apply to y'all, but you have family members that may be contributing factors for maybe some of the reasons that y'all may be here today, we're willing to help y'all with that and address those issues with them and try to reach out to them as well. But that's our service. We're very thankful for the judge who allows us here in his courtroom to provide this for you. So if anybody have any questions? Yes, sir.
I already got up on September 16th of this month. Got other people, help on those people too?
Yes, we do. We have a program just for that as well.
Yes, sir.
I'll talk to you about it in just a little bit. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else? Good deal. I'll be going around as the court proceeds. I'll be going around and talk to y'all individually. If you want to talk in more in depth privately, we're welcome to do that. If not, we can talk here privately, just out here in the gallery. Thank y'all very much.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Henry.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, the paperwork that you have in your hand, we're gonna have someone to come by and pick that up from you. And then, once we pick the paperwork up from you, we'll, some of your case is gonna be reset, some people are gonna be interviewed, depending on what you selected on the paperwork. And so, what I'll do, I'll give you a few more minutes to complete the paperwork if you need the time to complete the paperwork. But again, my name is Judge Terrence L. Holmes. I'm the presiding judge here in County Court at Law Number 2 of Jefferson County.